What's up? I got a Ralph's Records from Lubbock on. I'm not in the business of advertising. I'm never going to monetize these videos ever. But I just figured I'd give a shout out to cool Lubbock businesses right quick before I got started. And if you're in Lubbock, you should check it out if you like that kind of thing: CDs, music, DVDs, Blu-rays, all that kind of hard formatted stuff. Just instead of doing the digital download thing that everybody does these days. But anyway. Just watched the first half of the Hall of Fame game. Thought that was pretty interesting. I mean, as expected, nobody really played. A bunch of, I guess, kind of third stringers out there, guys that aren't going to be in the league in 3 weeks from now. I thought it was pretty interesting, too. The commentary was talking about Blaine Gabbert, who's with Arizona now. If you didn't know that, I didn't know that until I saw him in the game. And Al Michaels is like, oh, man, Blaine Gabbert is looking sharp tonight. I'm like, yeah, dude, against third-rate defenses doing the most basic of packages, manned by guys that are not even going to be in the NFL in a few weeks. I mean, yeah, he looks great, dude. Oh, my God. Blaine Gabbert, oh, he's number one. Go ahead and crown him the heir apparent to Carson Palmer now. Sit down, Carson. Your career's over. It is Blaine Gabbert time, dude. So, maybe he can go to Arizona and throw interceptions like he did pretty much his whole career in the pros. So I'm curious what you guys think about the Hall of Fame selections. I mean, there's some really good ones, some obvious ones. I think it's tough to deny LaDainian Tomlinson has had an excellent career, Hall of Fame career. Sure, like all running backs, I mean, he tailed off at the end. That's anybody. But for a decade, I mean, the guy was probably the number one fantasy running back that you could get your hands on every year. Put up huge numbers, both in the passing game and the rushing game. So I think that's pretty obvious. Kurt Warner, I'm on the fence on Kurt, and I want to clarify something here. This whole first ballot, second ballot, third ballot talk that appalls me. You're either a Hall of Famer or you're not a Hall of Famer. And when I have to sit there and waffle on a guy like Kurt Warner and go, well, did he play long enough? He had moments, and then at times he looked bad, specifically with the Giants. Then he rejuvenated his career in Arizona. I don't know if the window's wide enough, but I'm not totally oppositional to Kurt going in. Kenny Easley, kind of the same thing. I mean, we're taking that one back, but he was a pretty doggone good defensive back. Shorter window, sure, but I'm not totally oppositional to them. Terrell Davis, 3 really, really incredible football seasons. And a great story. I mean, a guy that probably wasn't going to make the league. A guy that he was playing great on special teams in the preseason, earned a job, and is the sole reason I think the Denver Broncos won a couple of Super Bowls back then. But I just don't – I mean, part of it being great to me is being great for a long time. Being great like Jerry Rice great. Maybe not going 20 seasons and being great. I mean, Jerry Rice is an exception to the rule. But give me at least a decade of great play, before you get in the Hall of Fame. So Terrell Davis is a great guy from all accounts. I've never heard a bad word said about the dude. His teammates always liked him. He was the type of guy that was always there and ready to work and ready to go. And he played really, really well for 3 years, and that's it. I got to say no. Terrell's a no for me, but congratulations to Terrell Davis. But the biggest glaring thing for me, and all you Cowboy fans out there, y'all can get all excited and all happy that Jerry Jones is going into the Hall of Fame. That is nonsense. That is absolute madness. What has Jerry Jones done besides destroy the Dallas Cowboys? They didn't win those Super Bowls because of Jerry Jones. They won them because Jimmy Johnson put a great team together, coached a great team, and what happened? Jerry Jones ran him off, sent him packing, and hired Barry. And people are going to say, well, Barry Switzer won a Super Bowl. Yes, with Jimmy Johnson's team, what did he do after most of those guys were gone, most of those guys retired, besides get picked up in the airport carrying a pistol and have to be fired because he's an idiot? Just like his idiot players at Oklahoma, like the Boz and the rest of them were a bunch of goofball idiot roid junkies. Barry Switzer they won a Super Bowl in spite of Barry Switzer, is what I would say. It's kind of like that rule that the Chicago Bears went to the Super Bowl in spite of Rex Grossman's crappy quarterbacking. Mark Brunell. I mean, the guy. You look at guys like that. He's a great quarterback. He took the Jaguars to the AFC Championship game in '96, I think. But the guy threw like 24 interceptions. So we can look at, yes, football is a team sport, and it's not ever one guy that takes a team to any one thing. And a lot of times you can say there's a lot of great coaches out there, but there's some really doggone good coaches that have always had bad players, and you can't win with them. And there's some pretty bad coaches that have won with some really doggone good teams. I don't think Mike McCarthy is that great of a coach. I think he's had really great players, in particular an amazing quarterback like Aaron Rodgers. So I digress. I'm getting off topic here. Jerry Jones, what have you done for them lately besides tear that team up, besides make crappy coaching decisions, besides allowing a no-talent clown like Jason Garrett to continue coaching that team year in and year out? Yeah, y'all have put together a pretty darn good team. Y'all have drafted a great team. I didn't see you win the Super Bowl last year, but boy, everybody in Dallas was talking, we're going to win the Super Bowl, man. This is our year. Oh, boy, we're going to the Super Bowl. Yeah, that didn't work out so good, did it? And I doubt it's going to work out very good this year either, too. So I don't see Jerry Jones going in the Hall of Fame is preposterous. He does not deserve to be in there. He has done nothing but tear a team apart. Now, we don't put Terrell Owens into the Hall of Fame because what do we say? Terrell Owens consistently tore teams apart, and he did. He did tear teams apart. He was a great player that was a locker room cancer and was all about himself. Chad Johnson, same problem, all about himself, good player. I don't think Chad Johnson was a great player. I think Terrell Owens and Randy Moss were great players. But they tore teams apart, quite frankly. Randy not quite nearly as much as Terrell did. But Jerry Jones does not, under any circumstances, deserve to be in the Hall of Fame. And generally speaking, I think the NFL usually gets it right. I think typically their Hall of Fame is one of the more legitimate Hall of Fames. Baseball, man, they just let people in just because sometimes. And then they don't let people in that deserve to be in the Hall of Fame. So I have problems with baseball's Hall of Fame. I think their whole system, the way they select players, is nuts. I don't think that it works well. I think that when you got guys going in that are marginal, they deserve to be in as an 18th ballot Hall of Famer, and we'll let the writers vote them in, but they don't deserve to go in any other way. Then they didn't deserve to go in the first place. You're putting guys like Bruce Sutter on the same level as guys like Ty Cobb, Babe Ruth, Hank Aaron. That's absurd to me. Y'all hear my phone ringing? Who is calling me? I'm going to silence that.
Call from Kevin.
Oh, it's Kevin Mitchell. Hi, Kevin Mitchell. Well, I said I was going to silence it.
Kevin Mitchell.
Okay, there it goes. Now I finally got the ringer off. Probably should have done that before I started the video. Now y'all know my phone works. So if you want to call me, call me. Seriously? I turn the ringer off, he calls me right back? That's funny. Okay, I'll call that guy back whenever I get done with this video. But yeah, getting back to the Hall of Fames, the Hall of Fame thing, man, and I'm gonna tell you, baseball's bad. I don't even consider the WWE Hall of Fame. So if you're a wrestling fan, please don't even bring that up to me. Don't be like, well, what do you think about the W? It's stupid. Okay, let me make that very clear. It's completely, utterly, 100% stupid. They don't even have a building. They just put people in because there's no criteria. That's not a Hall of Fame. That's a popularity contest. There is a Pro Wrestling Hall of Fame. It's actually in Wichita Falls, Texas. It's worth visiting if you're ever passing through. I think it'd be a pretty neat thing. Sometimes they do like autograph signings and stuff like that, so that's pretty cool. So there is an actual legitimate professional wrestling Hall of Fame. That's pretty cool. The other thing I wanted to bring up, this is, again, I know a lot of guys in the league don't care anything about boxing, but my guy, Wladimir Klitschko, has decided to hang it up. This was expected. People knew it was going to happen. He had an amazing fight with Anthony Joshua. What a hell of a way to go out. It was a great fight. Joshua, unloaded on him in the 11th round. They had both been just really slugging the crap out of one another. They went at one another that whole fight. It's what a boxing fan wants in a heavyweight fight. The guy's over 40 years old now. It's time. It's been time. He looked old against Tyson Fury, embarrassingly old. And I can say that I'm a huge Klitschko fan, both of the brothers, Vitaly and Wladimir. Initially, when their careers started, I was more of a Vitaly fan, but Vlad really grew on me in a hurry, and the guy has fought in more heavyweight title fights than any boxer in the history of the sport. Now, that something's got to be said for that. That's truly a Hall of Fame career. I think the Klitschko brothers, they should absolutely rank up there with the all-time greats. They should be mentioned when we talk about Ali, when we talk about Foreman, Holyfield, Tyson, the list goes on and on, Marciano, on and on. You need to talk about the Klitschko brothers too. The problem is boxing in the United States has done a really great job of burying the sport and moving to MMA and making that the thing. And the media likes to play it up like, well, there's no competition in boxing anymore. That is absolutely not true. That is so far from the truth. And they say, well, the Klitschko brothers, they didn't fight anybody. Not true. They fought everybody. Everybody. You stacked them up, and they fought them. Now, they didn't always win every fight, but the reality of it is no boxer does. Ali didn't win every fight. Ali, I think, has 6 losses on his record. Foreman has lost. Holyfield has lost. Tyson has plenty of losses. Those guys were so dominant for so long. You got to mention them in the talk, man. I'm not saying that we're saying that Wladimir Klitschko is the greatest fighter of all time. I think he might wind up being one of the most overlooked or underrated fighters of all time. And people say, well, he was boring. Yeah, and he won a ton of fights being boring. I'm very sorry about that, but I think I'd take the wins. Floyd Mayweather's boring. We don't give him that label. All he does is run away from guys. He hits them several times, then moves and runs away. When's the last time Floyd knocked somebody out? I can't remember. So don't give me that, well, Klitschko's boring. Or, well, he didn't fight anybody. No, he fought everybody. He fought more heavyweight title fights than anybody else in the history of the sport. And we're going back to the old days when guys would fight 7 times a year. And he's fought more heavyweight title fights than anybody else. I'm glad to see him go, though. It was time. It's been a great career. I have thoroughly enjoyed his fights. I actually have one that I downloaded off of YouTube several years ago. I forgot about it. I found it on my hard drive today when I was at work looking for a presentation. And I was like, wait, what is this? And it was Klitschko versus Francisco Pianeta, or whatever his name is. Punching Bag should have been his name because that fight, Vlad just beat the crap out of that dude. It was embarrassing for that guy. Most of the time in the guy's career, you could almost guarantee the guy walking down to the ring to go face Klitschko, he was a dead man walking, and you knew it. There were so many fights I would watch, I'd be like, this guy's coming down to the ring. I'm like, you are a dead man, dude. You're taking a payday to get a butt kicking, brother. But they were some great fights that we saw. The next guy to hang it up, obviously, I guess Floyd, until he needs more money. Then he'll come back again and he'll fight some other clown. Maybe, he'll retire. Oh, I beat up Conor McGregor. I killed MMA. I won the battle of the sport. And then, of course, you'll have promoters and stuff running in there and trying to do this again at some point, I'm sure. But Floyd, he'll get hit up by the tax man again, or he'll blow all of his billions of dollars that he's got buying his kids golden golf carts made from Rolls Royce to tool around on the property. And, that's what the kids need. They can't walk, I'm sure. They must be crippled or something. So get them golden golf carts made by Rolls Royce that you probably paid $2 million for. That's great, Floyd. So he'll need some money, and he'll get into the ring next with, I don't know, he'll probably get into the ring with friggin' Guy LaFleur or something like that, some gimmick fighter. Maybe he'll get in the ring with Jose Canseco or something. That'll be great. That'll be cool. Maybe he can fight Vanilla Ice. We can bring back the celebrity boxing again. It'll be Floyd Mayweather's celebrity ass whippings, or something like that. So he probably won't fully retire, but he'll be the next to retire. But following him, legitimate retirement will probably be Pac-Man. That old Horn fight, oh my God. I'm not even going to talk about it. Billy knows how I feel about it. I'm still furious, Billy. I am still furious about that. I'm never going to get over this. That was robbery. But Pac-Man, I think he's going to come back. I think he's going to do his rematch against that guy, get his belt back, and say, that's it. I promised my wife I'm done. I promised Freddie I'm done. I'm hanging it up. I think that's going to happen. And Klitschko's, Pac-Man, some of my favorite boxers of all time. Triple G, though, man, he's picking up the torch, and he's going to run with it. He's keeping boxing interesting for me. A lot of times when your favorite player or your favorite boxer or whatever your sport of choice is hangs it up, it's tough. It kind of sucks some of the life out of it for you. When Dan Marino hung it up, it kind of killed football a little bit for me. When Dirk hangs it up, it's going to hurt basketball for me, Plus, not to mention the Mavs are absolutely atrocious these days, so that doesn't help matters. But Gennady Golovkin is keeping boxing alive for me. I love it. I'm excited for the Canelo fight. And again, I want to reiterate, I said this last time, if you're not into boxing, that's a great place to start. The Canelo Triple G fight, I think you're going to really get a heck of a fight, and I recommend you checking it out. Football's here, man. We're here with the Hall of Fame game. We got more games coming up. I'm excited to watch them. As anything, these first weeks, nobody is going to really get significant playing time. The guys that are playing are guys that probably aren't going to be playing, so that they're willing to put them out there, because if they go down, no big deal. If Dallas lost, Dak Prescott canceled this, and I don't think Luke McCown and Kellen Moore is taking you to the promised land. As much as I love Luke McCown, Louisiana Tech Bulldog alumni, and a genuine great guy, too. I want to point that out. I had the chance to meet Luke McCown once. He signed my field pass for me. Just a really gracious dude. Just a really kind guy, man. Genuine and glad that somebody was a fan of his, I'm sure. But he's had a great career as a backup. And a career backup basically has been what he's had. And realistically, when you think about it, that's actually pretty impressive to be in the league for that long as just a backup. The guy that's there, hey, if there's an emergency, I'm going to pick up the mantle and I'm going to hand the ball off, or I'm going to complete some short pass, and I'm going to do my best not to turn the ball over until, the guy gets back. So that's hard to hang around for 15 years as a backup, but he's pretty much done that. So good on Luke McCown, man. I'm glad for him. That's great. College football's kicking off. This is my predictions for Texas Tech this year. And if you're mad at me for it, you're mad at me for it. But I'm trying to be realistic about this. We'll beat Eastern Washington, barely. We'll beat Kansas, barely. And that's it. That's where it stops, man. I am not ecstatic about this year. And you know what? If we go 2-9 or whatever, or 2-10 rather, so we got 12 games on the schedule. We go 2-10, and if that's what it takes to get Cliff fired, good riddance. Good riddance. I saw an article on the Matador the other day where they said, regardless, Cliff Kingsbury is the best man for the job. He is Lubbock. He wants to be here. He is Texas Tech, and we don't need to hire somebody that might use this as a stepping stone and leave in 3 years or something like that. Really? So you would rather have a very marginal, very middle of the road offensive coordinator. He's great with quarterbacks. He can call a pretty good offense. But the guy cannot coach a team. He doesn't recruit well. He brings in marginal guys. We've got crap defense. That's on the head coach. That's not on David Gibbs. That's not on the other 19 guys or whatever it is that we've had in the last 20 years. That's not on them, okay? That's on the head coach and his hiring decisions and on the recruiting and the stuff he allows to happen. That's on you, Cliff, period. Now, if somebody doesn't want to hear that and they still think it's 2001 and Cliff is lighting up the scoreboard, then you can keep living in the past. But this sport is not about what you did for me 20 years ago, 10 years ago, 15 years ago, last week. It's about what are you going to do for me moving forward. That's what it's about. Appreciate what you did for us as a player. Thank you for it. Now either get it together this year or get moving, man. Pack your bags. Go find somewhere else to go be a quarterback coach or something. Maybe Kansas City will hire you to come in and be a quarterbacks coach since Pat got drafted by them. You know, maybe that's something. Maybe that's a job in your future. And congratulations if you can get it. We're not going to win very many games this year. We're going to get blown out. We're going to have a lot more embarrassing losses, much like we did last year against West Virginia and Iowa State. Iowa State. They're an up-and-coming program. I don't want to completely knock them and take away from what they did, but that is pathetic, losing to them like we did. If we'd lost to them, let's say the score was, I don't know, 27-17 or something like that, I would have been very disappointed. I'd have been upset. I'd have been asking, why did we lose to this team? Why did we only score 17 points? What happened? Why couldn't we put up 50 like we've been doing? I'd have been asking questions like that. But when you let a team like that beat you down like a dog, Cliff should have been canned. He should have been canned after that game. But the reality is Kirby screwed up and owes him way too much money. And that's why that's the sole Kirby getting up on TV saying, I believe in Cliff Kingsbury. Sure you do, Kirby. Sure you do. No, you believe in the fact that you didn't want to pay the guy millions and millions of dollars, and you also realized that there was nobody really better that was going to come over here at the time. And so you said, you'll have to do, but please, for the love of God, get it done this upcoming year because you're going to get me canned too. I'm sure that's what the conversation in Kirby's head was going. So I'm not excited. If we win 4 or 5 games, I'll be happy. You know, if we somehow magically win 7 games, go 7-5, and go to the Texas Bowl in Houston and play friggin' Southern Miss or somebody like that, I mean, okay, that's phenomenal. And then all the Lubbock homers will come out and they'll be like, oh, Cliff's got the team going in the right direction. No, he does not. Even if we go 7-5, he does not. Now, if he magically takes us to 10-2, I'll buy that. Okay, let's keep the guy around. Maybe the worm has turned. I'll buy that. But until that happens, I'm not on board, dude. That's it. I'm signing out for the night. I'll see you guys around.